Hey friends, welcome back to She's At It Again. My name is Tanya and we're having another hot day here, and I was thinking I have something in my refrigerator I'm going to reuse, and we're going to see how this turns out. Sorry about the clock banging in the background. So I made a video just recently on some slow cooker chicken enchiladas, and when you make the enchilada sauce from scratch, and I would highly recommend that you do, it's so very good. But it makes more than what the recipe calls for. You have this little excess jar in there. Now you can always save it up, make another batch, save up the extra, and then you have enough to where you don't have to make any more enchilada sauce the next time you make it. You can always freeze it as well. But I don't know if y'all remember this or not, and they might still make this. I may just be total oblivious to it because I've not eaten at Taco Bell in, to be on the safe side, I'd say 15 years. It may be longer, but at least 15 years. Not that I didn't love it, because I could have probably kept a Taco Bell in business when I was in college. But I'm just saying, the Enchiritos were my favorite. They were so good. But I'm thinking I might be using this enchilada sauce to make some Enchiritos. So let's go in the kitchen. We've got leftover tortillas, because I made a video on how to make flour tortillas. We have leftover enchilada sauce, and very few things are needed except for that. Now, I soaked my beans yesterday. I cooked them overnight in the slow cooker out on the front porch, of course, because it's hot. So I've got most of my things prepared, and I'm ready for the challenge. So let's go in there and see if we can make some Tanya version of a Taco Bell Enchirito. All right, I have some grass-fed organic ground beef cooking here. This is just a pound of it. And I'm going to be adding additional ingredients to it, but what I'm going to be doing is pureeing my pinto beans that I cooked. So when you do that, if you put as much beans as you have meat in here, you want to add about twice your seasoning, because you're basically seasoning two proteins. So twice the amount of protein. And I don't want it to be bland by anybody's standards. All right, first thing we want to add to this is cumin. It's one of my favorite spices to spice Mexican food. And if I were doing just a pound of ground beef, I would only use, I don't know, between 1 and 2 teaspoons, but that's about 2 teaspoons. And we'll go with another almost 2 teaspoons. So when I do the recipe in the description, I will link what is just called seasoning for taco meat in there. But you can season it however you want to season it. If you buy just a package mix and season it, that's totally up to you if that's what you want to use. I'm going to put a little over a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'll put some oregano in there. About a teaspoon of that. I'll add salt to it. I'll add some salt, just a teaspoon of salt, because I'm going to salt the beans as well. I haven't salted them yet, nothing in them except for just beans and water is how they cooked. I need some chili powder. And mine's back here in the back. And I'm not going to put a lot of chili powder in there, but maybe a teaspoon. This is homemade chili powder. I have a video for that too if you're interested in making your own, which does not contain rice flour, which most commercial chili powders do, from what I've discovered. An enchirito, if you haven't guessed by now, is Taco Bell's version of combination enchilada and burrito. So they combined those two and came up with enchirito. And I think, if I remember correctly, and I could be totally wrong about this, but I think I remember them discontinuing the enchirito for a while. And then possibly they brought it back for a while. Somebody correct me on that if you know the details, but I'm not sure. But I don't know why they would ever discontinue it. It was so delicious. But I don't eat at Taco Bell, so I don't really know what they have on the menu right now. We have 2 Taco Bells in our town, and when I drive by, I can see on the sign what they're promoting at the time, which I always think is funny, the names they come up with stuff to lure people in. But the enchirito might be a thing of the past, but if it is, then you can make your own at home now. All right, I'm going to turn this temperature down and just let it cook on low for just a bit, and let's go over and puree our beans. This is our little tiny slow cooker that I've cooked the beans overnight, and they are nice and soft. Nice and soft. All right, this is what I'm going to puree them with. It's an immersion blender, but you can also use a mixer, a food processor, or just a potato masher, I guess, but they wouldn't be as smooth as what they hopefully are with this. So let's get these pureed. Now, if you'll notice, I didn't drain the water off of it. I really didn't cook them in an immense amount of water, so it's not like it's above the level of the beans. But in this recipe, you want them to be a little bit more watery because the meat mixture, you know, it doesn't have liquid in it, so that'll compensate for the lack of liquid in there. Plus, they puree better when you have liquid in it. How's that for good videography? I'm so sorry. I'm horrible at that. All right, I'm going to unplug this because I'm pretty sure we're finished with that. And if you're asking why I'm tapping this on my hand, because I'm tapping it to get the stuff off, but I don't want to bang it on this. This is ceramic. And it would probably break something. All right, we'll put that right there to clean later. To this, I'm going to add not really a whole can of chopped green chilies. I'll use the rest of it for some salsa, but I'm just going to put about a tablespoon. And this was about a cup of dried beans, so by the time they soaked and I cooked them, it turned into around 3 cups. And this is just jalapeno slices. Now remember, most of my seasoning that this is going to carry with it is in the meat over there, and it's going to be added to that, so it's not like jalapenos and green chilies is the only thing you'll need. If you want less jalapeno slices, by all means, don't put as many in there as I'm putting in mine. But you're welcome to skip that part altogether. But I just really like the taste of jalapenos. I did not know that as a kid. I thought every pepper was way too hot, and I didn't want it. But these are not. Okay, I'm going to plug this back in, and we're going to puree it so that the pepper slices will be smaller. Okay, this is what our mixture looks like. And we're going to add that to our cooked meat. So let's go ahead and take that over there. Today is a Friday, and we probably will not have this until, I don't know, maybe Sunday at noon. So after church, come in and just heat it up. But for right now, I'll put it in a 9x13 glass casserole dish, which has a lid to it. So I'll put some parchment down on top of it and keep it in the fridge until we get ready for it to heat it up for lunch that day. Or we might have it for dinner that day. I don't really know. I don't have necessarily date plans to eat it, but I do have plans to eat it because I'm kind of excited about this. All right, cook it until all the pink is gone out of the meat. And that's all you need to know about cooking taco meat, I guess, other than the spices to go in it. But again, you probably have your favorite spices. If you have something I haven't thought about, please let me know. But this is what I grew up using. I remember people would come to our house and they always said that my mother made the best tacos. Now, we don't have one drop of Hispanic blood in our family. I can promise you that. But my mother could make a mean batch of tacos. But I think it was because she just used so much cumin in it and everybody liked it. I don't remember anybody else's tacos tasting like hers, but I think I must have inherited that from her because mine kind of tastes like hers, which is a good thing. Everybody wants to be known as somebody whose food tastes good. So my mother did make good tacos, so these taste like hers. Fun fact. My mother claims that probably when I was a really little kid, she went to Memphis, and which we didn't live too far from Memphis, Tennessee. Went to Memphis, and they went in the Taco Bell. I think it was over on Poplar Avenue. Very old location. Went in there, and the manager said, apparently she was with someone, and they said, the manager came out and said, hey, we have this new dish and we're asking customers, we're going to ask customers if they'd like to try it, and you're our first customers that we want to try it. And it was actually an enchirito. She said they got to try it. They gave it to him for free, which she was pretty excited about because that's not something you typically did back in those days. And she said, it was so good, and I'm hoping they really do put it on their menu. And they did. So I thought that was kind of funny. She said, I was the first one who ever ate an enchirito in Memphis. So that's apparently her claim to fame. She was pretty proud of that. All right, now we don't have to put all this bean mixture in this meat mixture. I don't want too much. I mean, I can always use the beans for something else. I just add salt to it and a few seasonings, and there you go. But I do want to add enough to this to where it makes it of a spreadable consistency. I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off. And if some of that moisture cooks out of this, then that's fine too. Because I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know how I'm going to roll these up if this is going to start running out. So we'll have to figure that out. I might have to fold the ends of it. I guess like a burrito, I could do that. But I'm pretty sure, I don't remember if the enchirito was folded on the ends or not. Oh well, we'll figure it out. This could be just a big giant mess, but it's going to taste good. No matter what it looks like, it's going to taste good. I promise you that. All right, we'll let this cool off just a bit. Set it aside. And I'll go get my tortillas and my cheese and stuff ready, and we'll make some enchiritos. All right, I tasted the meat and bean mixture, which we affectionately refer to as beet. I tasted that, and it definitely reminded me that I didn't put the salt in that I was going to put in the beans. So I added another teaspoon of salt, and now it's perfect. All right, here we go, I think. These are my tortillas, and I've had them in this bag. These are what I made the other day. So like I said, I have all the components. It's just a matter of putting them together and going, hey, you know what I could make? An enchirito. It was my favorite. All right, I have Monterey Jack cheese. This is left over from the other day from something, and I just shredded this earlier, and I did it in those tiny shreds, because remember Taco Bell used to put those teeny tiny little shreds of cheddar cheese, well, maybe cheddar cheese, on the top of their enchiritos. Yeah. All right, I think I want to use a spoon to put that on there with. All right, let's see how long that is. Maybe I can fold the end of these. I just don't want it falling out. You know, Taco Bell just made it look so easy. And see, I'm already making a mess on my cutting board here. That's going to be a whole lot of meat. All right, a little bit of cheese. Now, I do know that Taco Bell put onions on their enchiritos on the inside because I always ordered it without onions. I'm not a fan of raw onions, and I especially wasn't back then. Okay, just a little bit of Monterey Jack. Fold that in. Whoa, that's really going to come out, isn't it? That's going to be messy. Oh well. All right. I'm going to show you how I'm going to put this in, I think. All right. Put this in like that. It's going to look very hillbilly, but it's going to be delicious nonetheless. I have faith in this. All right, let's see if we can get another one done. See, I made these tortillas kind of big. You can tell they're extra big because it wouldn't fit in the skillet. It went up the side of the skillet. I don't want to skimp on the meat because I don't want it to be, you know, just mostly tortilla. So I am not putting onions in this as an homage to my aversion to raw onions back when I used to eat so many of these. Okay, it kind of stays together. Okay, that's what they're looking like right now. I'm hoping to fit 6 in here, but I might fit 5 and that's it. I don't know. That means I'll need to eat one for lunch because I'll have all the components left and nothing to do with it. There might only be room for 5. Maybe I can fit one more in there. Ah, this was my amoeba-shaped tortilla. There. That's what those look like. Now, this is our leftover enchilada sauce. You know, for years, I thought that the key to the enchirito was the sauce that went on it. I'm not sure what it was, but I don't necessarily know that this smells like enchilada sauce, but it's still going to be good nonetheless. I just had an idea. Okay, this is mild Taco Bell sauce. Now, you can tell it's obviously homemade because I put it in a mustard jar, but I have a video for this too. And I think this might be the key to the enchilada sauce. So I'm going to put a little bit of that over it. And like I said, it's mild. So we'll see. All right, and last but not least, everybody knows that Taco Bell had 3 pieces of black olives on every enchirito. 3 slices. And then, of course, you sprinkle just that tiny bit of cheese over the top. And make it look like something from Taco Bell. All right, now all we have left to do is cover this with some parchment. I'm going to put this lid on it. This is what actually comes with this particular pan. It's flexible. And we're going to put it in the fridge, and we're going to have something left for making on Sunday. So I will try to do a video of this when I take it out of the oven. And maybe when we taste it. I don't know. Depends on who's eating with. But anyway, this gives you an idea of just, if you have leftovers, don't just think, I can only make what I just made with this. Make something else with it. So don't waste anything. Things are too expensive, too hard to come by, and they're too valuable to just throw away. So anyway, hope this has been helpful for you, and I hope you give this a try. Recipe is in the description. Sorry for all the add-ins, but you know, I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants with this one, and I think the addition of the mild Taco Bell sauce might be just the key to this. So anyway, we'll put a link to that recipe as well. We hope you give this a try, and we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. Y'all have a good day. Bye. All right, we have our enchiritos. This is probably, I don't know, 3 days after we made these, so we're just now heating them up for dinner, and this is what they look like fresh out of the refrigerator. And I don't want them to dry out too much, so I'm going to leave the parchment on there, and I'm just going to loosely put a piece of foil over it like that to still allow airflow underneath it because it's a little convection oven. So anyway, I'm going to put these in the oven, and I'll show you what they look like when they come out. Okay, enchiritos, fresh out of the oven. It almost looks like it did when it went in. So I'm not really showing you anything new. It doesn't look hot, but it is hot. I had it in there for about 45, 50 minutes. So anyway, I'm going to cut into this. I will leave the first comment that I leave will be one telling you if I think it tastes like a Taco Bell enchirito. I kind of have my doubts that it does. Just the fact that it has enchilada sauce, or enchilada sauce on it, I should say. It's a different recipe. So anyway, if this sounds intriguing to you, I've just kind of done like a patchwork recipe. So what I've done is copied and pasted parts of different recipes to put in this to kind of just draw you through the steps of getting this to this point. So it may not be authentic, but it sure smells good, I will tell you that. So anyway, hope you give this a try, and we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. Thanks, guys.